All right, welcome and thank you for joining us for the Alert Origination Software Providers Recorded Demonstration Series. This is hosted by the Integrated Public Alert and Warning Systems Technical Support Service Facilities, otherwise briefly known as IPAWS TSSF. Today we have CEO Pamela Lapine and Technical Operations Manager Jeff Greer, who will be showing us how to send an IPAWS alert with HipLink. Before I begin, I need to share a disclaimer. The Integrated Public Alert and Warning System vendor demonstrations are intended to increase state and local emergency management agencies' awareness of vendor products and IPAWS capabilities. The webinar provides an overview of the interoperability of these systems with IPAWS Open and will include vendor presentations of their products. FEMA IPAWS Program Management Office encourages and facilitates this discussion of products and tools, but it does not endorse any specific vendor's products. This webinar is for educational purposes only. All right, thank you, Pam. I'm going to go ahead and pass you the presenter.
All right, thank you very much. I seem to have an echo. Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to demonstrate our IPAWS interface from HipLink. But first, let's talk a little bit about what is HipLink. First, what we do is give you highly reliable, fast messaging, no matter what type of device. The platform is used to move information to the right people and facilitate collaboration. And when you use a platform like HipLink, you can leverage the applications you use every day. You give them a voice, and therefore you also improve your operations. Now, I'll talk a little bit about who we are and about the platform, but what I want to be sure everybody understands is that IPAWS is a feature of our overall platform. It does complement our public safety offering, but it's a piece of the puzzle. Now, who is HipLink? So we, kind of a short introduction here. We've specialized in providing very powerful notification from the very beginning of our company history. And we've always worked the majority of our time with public safety. Now, we were founded in 1993. And over the years, we've seen the development and evolution of the entire industry. Our company is headquartered in the heart of Silicon Valley, and we are privately held. Now, over the years, we worked with all kinds of third-party software vendors, and we feel these partnerships strengthen our offering. Some of these are certainly like FEMA that we're talking about today, but all the CADs, even Esri, NOAA. So we work with all of the players in the field. Now, we also work very closely with the telecom and paging carriers. This ensures that our system works at a foundation level and gives our customers the highest reliability in delivery. Now, some of the pain points that the platform addresses are things like dispatch overwhelm for dispatchers having to do too many things, providing better situational awareness in the field with no delay, being able to coordinate all kinds of external resources when you've got a major incident. Also, ensuring that the agency maintains their SLA standards. And then we do have a very secure platform, so we can maintain compliance with the FBI CJIS requirements in a mobile environment. A lot of companies say that we're a key to improving their ISO rating, and some of the simple things like being able to help with staffing overtime. Now, typical use cases of our platform are, of course, the CAD integration. This gives us automatic paging, but also encrypted messaging where you've got sensitive or important events. We provide all kinds of interoperability at all levels, local, state, federal, as well as mutual aid. We can help coordinate all kinds of resources, and whether this is internal, volunteers, NGOs, all of that coordination can go through our platform. We can also integrate with the infrastructure. So we can provide equipment and IT alerts, everything, even including radio towers. And of course, then there's the mass notification. And this is where IPAWS fits in our platform. Now, we can do it for just employees, or we can use IPAWS for citizens. And the HipLink solution, we've been in business for a long time. Our HipLink has been in production since 1995. So it's not a brand new product. It is web-based, and you have a preference, whether it's on-premise or cloud, but incredibly secure with full accessibility. The beauty of this system is that one server can serve many masters. So you can do all of your IPAWS alerts and your first responder alerts and internal notifications from one system. All of this is because we have an intensive user permissioning engine. And this allows you to define exactly what somebody can see and do when they log into the system. Now, as a platform, we support all devices, all carriers. We have no dependence on email. So whatever the agency is using, whether they need SMS or pagers or pop-ups or digital signage, voice, the platform supports all of that. And we're flexible when it comes to building a system. Now, the important functions of the platform as a whole are targeting and filtering notification. So this is where we direct it to the right person who's on call, who can fix the problem. And so it can be by schedule, by scenario, automatic escalation, and lots of rules engines so that we can direct it. But it's very important to have accountability and forensics in a system like this. So we have real-time tracking and status reports. We've got all two-way responses so that you can see what's going on without any intervention. And of course, it's CJIS compliant. Now, security and access are imperative for a system like this. So we have that granular user permissions, but we can do it at the user level, at the department level. We can distribute all of that. We can distribute all of that to the right people, but we log everything in the system. And this is often important for agencies that are looking at this. And then, of course, there's redundancy, so that we've got automatic system failover at many, many different levels. And some of the other advanced features that we have, in addition to IPAWS, we also do have options for web signup, for opt-in alerts, for those informational alerts, and map-based sending. We also have our own mobile app, which is our encrypted app with all kinds of mapping and location features. We can do things like LDAP or voice, but the platform is extremely broad and can meet all of your communication needs. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Jeff so that Jeff will show you our IPAWS interface.
Thank you, Pam. Now we'll go ahead and take everyone through the live presentation and live demo of our HipLink software. So what we're looking at right now is our main HipLink platform. And this, as Pam was talking about, is a comprehensive platform that has a lot of different features and a lot of different areas where we can go and send out messages to different groups, individuals, organizations as we need. One of the features of our platform is the IPAWS interface that we can use to send out emergency communications using the IPAWS network. And to access that, we have a rollover menu here inside our web browser, and we can go ahead and access our IPAWS send screen directly from here. One thing I did want to note is that accessing the IPAWS screens is a permissioned area within our software. So anyone that implements our software solution, you have to give implicit permissions for someone to go access that IPAWS area in order to send out messages to the public. That way you don't have the wrong people trying to dispatch messages potentially at the wrong time. So what I've done is taken the opportunity to load up our IPAWS send screen with some information, and I'll take you through and show you around some of the different areas that we have to offer here. So what we're looking at right now is the main send panel that we use to dispatch IPAWS messages through the FEMA architecture. On this screen, one of the first things that I'll point out is this connected banner here at the top right-hand corner. What this allows us to do is to ensure that this HipLink system is actively connected to the IPAWS network to ensure that when we're done composing our message and we send it out, it'll reach the FEMA gateway. They can process the message and get it out to the public as necessary. One of the other features we have on this page is this button that says Cog Details. When I push that, it'll give me a pop-up window and it will display the permissions that we happen to have and the different areas that we can reach and the different channels that we have access to use. So each customer that uses the IPAWS interface will have their own set of credentials, and they can use this window at any time to verify that they have the appropriate credentials that they can use to send the correct messages using the appropriate channels. So speaking of channels, right below that, you'll see that we have our target channel area, and we have 4 buttons that we can use to turn on and turn off depending on which channels that we want to use to send out our IPAWS message. So we have the capability of sending out WIA-based messages for our mobile devices, and this will use the command channel on these devices to alert the public in the event that there is an IPAWS emergency that they need to pay attention to. The CAP exchange is a feature that allows for organization to organization communication so that different agencies can actually pass information to one another using that channel. And then we also have the emergency alert system. So this will be your television and radio systems. And then we also have the weather radio channel as well. So when you come to this page and you put together your message that you want to send, you can pick and choose any of these different channels that might be appropriate for that particular situation. Once you've established that, as you scroll down the screen, we can start to use these different fields to put in your alert information to get that information put together and then submit that so that it can generate the alert that will go out to the public. So the first thing that I'll show you is which area is it that we want to focus on and who needs to get that alert. And we have a couple of different ways that we can handle that. First and foremost, we can go ahead and put in a FIPS code into this window, and that will go ahead and allow for the affected area specifically for the communications that are going out. The other thing that we can do is tap on this map selection button, and this will bring up a map that we can use to highlight certain areas that we want to go ahead and generate a message specifically for WIA communication. So if we have a situation where we need to ensure that certain people are notified, we can go ahead and use different selection tools inside this map where we can draw things like a rectangle or create polygons or circles, and we can go ahead and select an area, or we can even select multiple areas where we can generate messages and notify people in that area. So once we've done that, we can go ahead and save. And then real quick, we also have different features in here where we can even query an address or find intersections. We can look at multiple layers within the map. So we have a lot of different controls and functionality that we have here built into the map to help us identify the appropriate area that we want to go ahead and notify. And then once we hit save, you'll see that it includes the polygon selection area here so that we are aware where this is going out. And then we can go ahead and continue on filling out the information for this IPAWS alert. On this form, you'll have the different drop downs that we can choose from and to specify the alert information that we need to provide. And one thing I want to mention is that depending on the different channels that you select at the top, the options will change inside these different drop-down menus. So you'll notice that if you only send it to one specific channel, you might get more options. And as you select other channels for communication, those options might change or become limited just based off of the type of broadcast that they allow. So in this particular incident, I went ahead and pre-filled out some of this information just to make this a little bit quicker. But we have things, as I mentioned, we have drop-down menus we can select from. Some of these are going to be open text fields that we can type in our information. And then as we scroll down, we have areas where we can go ahead and include additional alert information. So the type of alert, the description of that alert, and then if we're using WIA to communicate with mobile devices, we have two different fields that we can include information, which can be a brief description and then larger details as well, that allow up to 360 characters to provide further information to those recipients. We also allow for Spanish input as well, so we can do both English and Spanish for all of these different fields to ensure that we're getting that information out to the people that need to see it. Once we've gone through, selected our channels and selected our area, given all of our information, at that point we can go ahead and hit the send button down here at the bottom. This is going to prompt us to ensure that we're going to send out this message, and are we sure we want to continue? I can click OK, and now that message is going to go from the HipLink side out to FEMA. They will process that information and then send that out to the public. So I'm going to pause there for just a second. Do you guys want to go ahead? Because there's more things I want to show inside our interface. Obviously, the alert's going to start going off now. Do you want me to pause here so that you guys can go ahead and talk about the alert side?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for audio. Again, we can edit this part out, but I don't hear the audio from the alert right now. So if we can capture that.
Yeah, I'll stop talking until something comes through. Last time it took almost 30 seconds. And let me know if you want me to send another one.
Here it goes.
Great. Thanks for sending that alert, Jeff. Now we can hear confirmed in the TSSF that your alert did successfully hit the IPAWS open.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Sure. So basically, that gets the message from the HipLink system out to the IPAWS infrastructure. Now, from the HipLink perspective, we also have a reporting screen that we can go to, and we can actually see the messages that are sent from HipLink out to FEMA using the IPAWS network. And so we have confirmation here that this has gone out. We can even look at the different channels that are being used. And then on top of that, we can even click on the link to give us a bit more information and confirm that that message, in fact, has gone out through the system. In addition to that, we also have what we call the IPAWS inbox, which will actually show us all of our different campaigns that we've done and all the messages that have been sent from HipLink to FEMA through using IPAWS. And we can go in here and click on the button and give us a pop-up. And this is where we can go back and recap all of the information pertaining to that alert, verifying all the information. And we also have the ability to cancel the alert from this inbox as well. So we do have full reporting and tracking when we are sending out IPAWS messages. So in addition to that, I did want to mention that when it comes to our IPAWS interface, that we do provide training for all of our different customers that start to use this IPAWS interface within HipLink, and then we also provide support as well. So if there are any questions or concerns or problems when using the system, they can contact our support department directly, and we support this just as we do any other feature within inside our product. Now with that, that concludes our live demo of the HipLink software.
And Jeff, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. Until next time.